I mean, honestly, the only real battle in the world today that I see worth fighting is, exterminating Israel. I mean, I would sign up tomorrow and go put boots on the ground and go kill Israelis. That would be a great day for me. I would sign up on the draft waiver wherever. Give me a rifle and send me over there. I truly believe that the majority of that country is evil, and they're perpetuating a genocide. They've been operating apartheid. They're suppressing those Palestinians. They're attacking their neighbors. They're operating like terrorists. They're arrogant, ungrateful bastards, and they need to be wiped off the map.
All right. Well, Dan Bilzerian joins us for a discussion and a debate on this and why he ran for Congress against the Israeli operative Randy.
Alex had a lot to say about that. I may get into the video because he really had a problem with that little piece of video that he just showed. And he said he wanted to debate him. So this is supposed to be a debate. I hope it doesn't turn into an interview. I haven't watched this fully. I just saw a little clip of it. And it was mostly just Dan talking. So we're going to find out together.
Fine. So, Dan, I agree with a lot of what you have to say, but I tell you, saying exterminate everybody in Israel, I mean, you want to quantify that? Or are you saying everybody there needs to die? You're ready to go fight and die? Who would you fight alongside? Thanks for joining us.
Well, I think that's taken out of context. I said the only war worth fighting today is against Israel, and that I would be happy to go and fight in that war. And that would be against Israeli military members, not against citizens. So I think that's taken a little bit out of context, like I said, when you just post that one clip.
Okay, well, send us the full clip. Well, what did you say in the full clip? I mean, you're here. Tell us what you think.
That's what I said. I said the only war worth fighting today is against Israel. They're terrorists. They've been operating as terrorists, and they've attacked us. They have sold our secrets. They have undermined us. They have lied to us to get us into wars. And so, yeah, I can't think of another country that I would rather be fighting against than Israel.
Well, let's talk about, again, I just saw that clip. I mean, you say exterminate them. You're talking about the Israeli military.
Yes.
What should happen with Israel? Are you from the mountains of the sea, no Israel?
Yeah, I think that place should not exist. They stole the land. They've been operating as terrorists. They were terrorists before Israel's inception. I mean, what made up Israel? The Irgun, the Haganah, and the Stern Gang. I mean, those are all terrorist organizations. They blew up the King David Hotel. They were murdering British diplomats. They were murdering British military members. They were all designated terrorist organizations, and that is what formed the IDF. All the leaders of those terrorist organizations went on to be prime ministers of Israel. So it is a terrorist nation. It's always been a terrorist nation. And we've been lied to, and we've been told that all of their enemies are terrorists, and that's who we should be fighting. But the truth of the matter is, we should have taken out Israel a long time ago. We should have started at the USS Liberty. Maybe we should have started at the Levant affair. Maybe we should have started when they were genociding people during the Nakba.
USS Liberty?
Well, I don't find any fault with what you just said. That's all on record. But definitely Israel was a powerful lot before. What's changed the last year or so since Operation Midnight Hammer, where Israel openly wants to control our foreign policy and domestic to defend that policy? I'm sure you saw the 60 Minutes with Netanyahu. If you didn't, I could play the clips. Already played the first hour. But he literally says, the war ends when I say. People are just jealous of Israel. We've done nothing wrong. We need to basically censor the media, eight-front war, not understanding. Yeah, we see you carpet bombing Christian Lebanon, tens of thousands of homes, blowing up churches, raping men, women, and children. I mean, what the hell's going on here? Why do you think Israel is so mad dog right now?
It seems like they want to, force a world war, and they don't want peace. They've sabotaged all of our peace deals. They continue to bomb Lebanon. They've killed the negotiators. I mean, they are, by every definition, terrorists. By the way, the audio on your side, it's a little light. Is it possible that your staff can turn up the audio? Just coming to me, anyways.
Absolutely, guys. Can you boost my audio to him, please? Great, we'll do that. So, let's talk about your life and the things you've done. When did you start getting on the Israel beat? When did you start getting really upset about Israel?
I really started looking at it after October 7th, when we got inundated with all the, oh my God, they're trying to kill all Jews. It's a Holocaust, never again, all that. And then I started looking at their massive disproportionate response to what happened on October 7th. Later, I found out that they had allowed October 7th to happen, that they killed their own citizens in the Hannibal Directive. And then I started doing some more research. I was a Navy vet. I found out about the USS Liberty. I found out about Jonathan Pollard. I mean, I really started doing a deep dive into our relationship with Israel, what we've gotten. And
Robert Maxwell, too.
Not only did we not get anything from them, but we've gotten just such a massive net negative. If anybody had done the things that Israel did to our country, they would be our mortal enemy. And for some reason, we're lied to and told that they're our greatest ally. And it's just absolutely not true.
Now, if you were the president or you elected Congress, what would you advise? I mean, how would we do this? Because Israel has a whole bunch of nuclear weapons and high-tech delivery systems. So everybody's saying destroy Israel, destroy their military, get rid of their state. They have the Samson option. That's going to happen. That's why I didn't want this conflagration, this conversation to happen, so I could look at the second, third order developments there. I mean, if you thought about what Israel will do, what would be the scenario to get rid of Israel, as you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. The Samson option, right? If they feel like they are going to be exterminated, they're going to launch nukes and kill everybody else. That alone, that directive makes them the greatest terrorist threat to the world today. And the fact that they have illegally acquired all these nukes, they stole the uranium from us. They have not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. They don't allow nuclear inspections, and yet they just incessantly whine that Iran is going to get a nuke, that they're a month away from getting a nuke. They've been telling us that the same song and dance for 35 years. Meanwhile, they've been illegally stockpiling nuclear weapons, and they openly say that they will, launch them against everybody if they feel like they are going to fall, which I just don't understand how that is ignored.
Imagine the nerve of tattling on other countries trying to get nukes when you stole your nukes from the people you're tattling to. Just think about that. Just think about the hypocrisy in that.
So how would you then, if you were the president of the United States, what would you do?
Oh, I mean, well, you look at what JFK wanted to do, right? He wanted to sign the Zionist lobby, which is now AIPAC. He wanted to register them under FARA. That's what he signed into action. I mean, that absolutely needs to happen. They're a foreign government that's influencing our policy, that's bribing our politicians. That would be
what happened to him,
where we would start. I mean, the next thing JFK did is that he sent Ben Gurion a letter saying that if they don't allow all the nuclear inspections, that he's going to cut off all their aid and actual nuclear inspections, not their, dog and pony show where they pretend to not have nukes. And so what did they do? They killed JFK, and then LBJ came in and he overturned all that. Now they didn't have to register under FARA. The Zionist lobby turned into AIPAC. And then he basically just allowed them to have all the nukes they wanted, didn't force the nuclear inspections. And what did he say when the USS Liberty was attacked? He said, I don't care how many U.S. sailors die as long as we don't embarrass our greatest ally, Israel. So, I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, I think
let that sink in. When you have a Zionist leader, they don't care what Israel does. To us, all they care about is Israel.
That's when we really lost control of our country.
Well, it's definitely true that Israel is exerting a lot of control over our country. What is it like? Have you run into Randy Fine yet on the campaign trail? Describe your district, because he is the nastiest Zionist in America, and that's saying a lot. I mean, have you run into him yet?
I have not, but I find it very hypocritical that the anti-Semitism laws that he passed, if he were to say all the things that he says about Muslims, about Jews, he would be in jail for 5 years based on the laws that he passed in this district. And so he is, he's against freedom of speech. He's not American. He wants to send our tax dollars to Israel. He's advocated for us nuking Gaza. He wants the streets of Gaza to run with Palestinian blood. He said that Muslims are lower than dogs. I mean, this guy is the most vile Jewish supremacist that we have. And to me, that is the greatest threat to the world today. It's not Zionists, it is Jewish supremacy. And he is the embodiment of Jewish supremacy. So that is why I wanted to take him on.
So you say just in the last, 4 years or so, or 3 years, October 7th woke you up to this issue, and now you're on the air saying basically exterminate. I mean, that's the quote. You're saying you to mean everybody. Where do you see this? I asked the question before, but I want you to really get into it. If you were the president, what would you do?
I would declare war on Israel. I would cut off, at a minimum, I would cut off all foreign aid. I would let Iran have free will to do what they want with Israel. I would kind of let the problem probably take care of itself, to be honest, because if we stop defending Israel, I think they would get what they deserve. They have been persecuting these Palestinians. They've been operating apartheid. They've attacked all their neighbors. I mean, they bombed 7 countries in a year. They continue to just have unprovoked aggression. I mean, they are a total terrorist nation. I just don't understand how they're not qualified as a terrorist nation. They have nukes. They acquired them illegally. They refused to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, and they said that they would just kill everybody if they feel threatened. So, please tell me, Alex, how does that not make them the greatest terrorist threat to the world today?
Well, let's go back to this though, because we have that famous
don't pivot, Alex.
clip. I had it last week. We didn't play it. Played it a year ago. You have Kirby, the Pentagon spokesperson, being asked, well, if Iran's got to be attacked because they might have a nuke, Israel admits they have nukes, tacitly, why not? He said, we can't talk about it. That goes to the next question. You want from the mountains of the sea, or the river to the sea, to get rid of Israel, they're going to do the Samson option. So let's think through where this goes, just from where you want to get rid of Israel, the Muslims want to get rid of it. What does Israel do when that happens?
I mean, look, it's something that we are going to have to deal with if they continue to attack all their neighbors.
Is the argument they're really, really awful, so we have to stay friends with them? Is that the argument Alex making here?
Continue to manipulate U.S. foreign policy, if they continue to steal our tax dollars, if they continue to bribe and blackmail our politicians, eventually we are going to have to deal with this problem. We should have dealt with this problem a long time ago. And the longer we put it off, the more nuclear weapons they're going to have. So, at a minimum, we need to cut off all the foreign aid to Israel. We need to stop their influence on our politicians. It's like our politicians are like these easily led automatons, just like, clapping like baby seals when Netanyahu comes in Congress, and they just all tweet in unison, Israel's our greatest ally. We have to support them. They all keep signing off on sending them more money. It's just like even AOC, like people that are super, super Democrats that, are supposed to be, doing what their constituents want, are just all ignoring it for Israel, but only for Israel, really. If you look at it, like it's like the left and the right is completely divided, but that's the one thing that they can all come together and agree on. And
let me ask you this before I play a clip of Netanyahu saying it's not Israel's fault, it's social media. No, it's people see Israel doing on social media. And then I got the Kirby clip I mentioned, but what made you decide to run for Congress? And because I'll say what you're doing is extremely dangerous. You're definitely going to piss off Randy Fine, who's called for arresting anybody that criticizes Israel. And at what point, if it hasn't already happened, will he call for your arrest?
What's Randy going to do?
I'm surprised they haven't killed me by now, to be honest. It's one of those things where everybody's saying it. I mean, look, when I started talking about this, people weren't really fully awake. It was something that everybody thought you would get killed for saying. And now it's like trending on social media to talk about this. In fact, people have turned their entire accounts into anti-Israel accounts. And, you see guys like Fishback running their campaign, basically like calling out Israel and talking about AIPAC. So
for folks who don't know, he's running for governor in Florida. Let me agree with you. I don't just go off polls. The polls show this. I'm on the streets. And
vote for James Fishback, by the way.
A gas station attendant, restaurant, grocery store, church. Everybody's just obsessed with Israel. My issue is Israel has a lot of problems trying to control us. You're saying only war worth fighting is this. I don't want any new wars, but Netanyahu admits they're losing the information war. We'll play a clip in a minute, but I don't think they realize how bad they're losing. If he thinks $760 million they just signed off on for domestic propaganda, they already spent $500 million last year domestically. If he thinks it's going to fix it, the more Israel tries to push people around, the worse it gets. We're going into this cycle. Here's Netanyahu talking about on 60 Minutes.
Netanyahu attributes the reputational harm to Israel almost entirely to social media, which he calls the eighth front of the war.
Because it's this is yours, right? You're not immune either, because you can penetrate this machine, you can penetrate this little instrument, and you can say about Major Garrett anything you want, and I can paint you as a monster. And if I say it often enough people will believe it.
Do you believe Israel is at risk of losing this war on that social media front? And this is particularly, I believe, important in America for younger Americans, Republican and Democrat, scrolling through images, and they would use words like barbaric in Gaza and in Lebanon.
Israel has gone to unbelievable lengths to get innocent civilians out of harm's way. We text message millions of text messages to them, make millions of phone calls to them, pamphlets, leaflets, you name it, okay? We have seen the deterioration of the support for Israel in the United States almost, I would say it correlates almost 100% with the geometric rise of social media. And that by itself is not what caused it. And I don't.
As if it didn't also coincide with them starting to murder all the innocent people in Gaza. You can look. There's a timeline they do on, even on Fox News. They'll admit it's because of the war in Gaza. They're not that bought yet.
Believe in censoring them or anything. But I'll tell you what happened. We have several countries that basically manipulated social media, and they do it in a clever way.
As if they don't. He's admitted that they're buying up all of our social media just to propagandize us. And he's complaining about other people that do you think Qatar owns a lot of our media, or do you think Israel owns a lot of our media? Think about it.
And that's something that has hurt us badly.
Is it your belief, Mr. Prime Minister, that nothing that Israel has done, tactically or strategically, has made no mistakes either in Gaza or the West Bank that have, in their own way, contributed to this negative impression
absolutely
of Israel, whether it's on social media or someplace else?
No, of course. Look, it's war. And in war, armies sometimes miss, and civilians die. And these are mistakes. These are not deliberate things that happen. Israel is besieged on the media front, on the propaganda front, and we've not done well on the propaganda war.
So as long as they keep starting wars, they can kill all the innocent people, because war is hell. It's war they start, but it's still hell. It's just hell for the people they're blowing up. It's not hell for them.
We've seen churches where they bomb it 3 times in one day. And I know a lot of contractors, former military, that were pro-Israel before. They've contacted me and they said, we were in Gaza, and they said, oh my God, Israel's pure evil. You have the footage of tens of thousands trying to get food. They just machine gun them coming in. This is crazy. So Dan, I get your point about being upset about Israel. My concern is, where does this end with the cornered Israel?
Well, one thing I would like to say about that video that I found interesting is he said, if I say it often enough, people will believe it. And usually what I've found with Israel is that many of the things that they are accusing others of, almost all the things that they are accusing others of, is things that they are guilty of. And one of the things that we've seen with a lot of the Jewish propaganda is they just repeat things and repeat things and repeat things until people finally just accept it as truth. Israel's our greatest ally. That's something that we just heard over and over and over and over again. But there's absolutely no factual evidence to back up any of those statements. Kind of like the 40 beheaded babies, the babies in ovens, the mass rapes. I mean, they just tell us these lies over and over and over again because they understand propaganda. And I find it interesting that he talked about it in that show and named it as propaganda, because that's exactly what it is. And that's what they're trying to fight. They're trying to fight a propaganda war where they give us misinformation and try and get us to believe it. I mean, to me, I just think government officials should be forced to tell the truth. And I think there should be laws put in place where if a government official knowingly lies, that they are held accountable for that. I mean, that's at a minimum fraud, it's deception. And there's no laws put in place to hold politicians accountable. And that's one of the things that I would like to pass when I get into Congress, is laws to hold politicians accountable for what they say.
I want to play this.
Whenever they say they're fighting a propaganda war, they don't mean they're fighting it against another media operation. They mean they're talking about guys like me, guys that you see who are just making YouTube videos in their living room. That's who they're fighting the propaganda war against, because we're fighting against all propaganda.
For the audio right now, this is one of many videos. And I talked to two people who I know well who were in the military and special operations, leave it at that, highly decorated. They were over there, one of them in a pretty high level position, I won't say anymore. And they went over there pro-Israel, and after spending over a year there, both of them in different places, they said it is unspeakable what they're literally hunting and just randomly killing men, women, and children. I was told about people on the ground. Here's footage of tens of thousands being brought in to try to get food drop, and they just start shooting them. Here it is. So again, I want Israel to stop doing what it's doing. And Dan, do you think Israel's one monolith? Do you think they're all bad over there?
No, I don't think they're all bad, but I do think it's a sick society. And you brought up the shootings at the food station. I mean, there was, so many examples of just horrific things. Hind Rajab, Rachel Corrie, you've got there was the Palestinian ambulance workers that had their lights on. They're in uniform. They're going to help somebody, and they got gunned down by Israelis. Israel denied it, and then they found the footage in the shallow grave that they had buried these people. That showed exactly, what they said was a complete lie. They had just gunned down Palestinian ambulance workers. They've done so many atrocious acts. And you look at their society, and a lot of their society supports this. More than 50% support this genocide that's going on in Gaza. More than 50% believe that they're operating and living in apartheid and support.
If someone did that to Israel, we would have to hear about it for the next 80 years. And we would talk about it every day, just like we do World War II now.
So it's a society of supremacy, and that supremacist mindset comes from the Jewish religion in general, because Judaism believes that they are chosen by God and that they are better than other people. And if you look into the Talmud of what it says, it's okay to lie, cheat, and steal from non-Gentile or from Gentiles. Jews have different sets of laws than Gentiles, so they really look at themselves as being better than Gentiles and separate from Gentiles. And I think that is the source of the problem. It's not Israel, it's the religion, which is why I'm not just anti-Zionism. I am against Jewish supremacy, because these problems have been occurring before Israel, and it is a problem with a supremacist mindset.
Well, I'm not defending Israel, but aren't most cultures, at least primitive cultures, they always think they're the best, they're the supreme people?
Well, I mean, Christianity doesn't teach you that you're better than other people and that you can lie, cheat, and steal from other people.
That's right. Christianity is what built civil. It was the big change.
Well, but Islam doesn't say that you're better than other people. They don't say you can lie, cheat, and steal from people that aren't Muslim. Both religions also want to encourage people to join the religion. They want to spread the gospel. Judaism is kind of closed.
I'm not going to sing the praises of Islam either. I'm not singing either of their praises. I just want to keep them over there and let them do whatever the fuck they want to do to each other and not spend my money doing it.
Stay right there. Back in a few minutes. Dan Bilzerian. We've been right about the poison shots and raised the main alarm. And right about the open borders, and right about the wars, and updated World War II tricks to take action now. It's very dangerous. But now we're here. And so once we got here, then it's the way it is. We have Israel run our country and put us into total war. At the same time, I just don't want to get down the level of Netanyahu saying exterminate everybody, and Trump will exterminate all the Persians to liberate them, and then we're like, we'll exterminate you back. I just don't want to get down on their level. But we were talking in the break about some big topics. I'm glad you brought these up. You want to get into what's going on with Trump, how he changed. You wanted to bring up his persecution of some of his biggest supporters, and just other stuff. I'm trying to give you the floor. People say, hey, you're interrupting Dan. Give us your spiel.
I thought it was a debate. You do interrupt in debates.
No, you haven't been interrupting me at all. I think this has been a very fair interview. I think that Trump is completely compromised. I think he's completely sold out this country. He's turned on many of his biggest supporters, you being one of them, Tucker. I mean, everybody, Candace. And he does it at the first moment they criticize him. And he did the same thing with Joe Kent. I mean, it's everybody's seeing it. I mean, how many generals have quit? This guy is doing what is in his own best interest, and he's not doing what is in the best interest of the country. And that is the main problem with politicians today, is they're all focused on what's best for them and how they can make money manipulating the market, how they can make money, you know, for their donors, and how they can get reelected. And it's just not about the country anymore. And it's a really sad state of affairs. But with Trump, I mean, he was so against war in Iran. I mean, he publicly criticized, I believe it was, he said, you know, Obama's going to get us into war with Iran because he's so weak. He talked about how, you know, if anybody took money from Miriam Adelson, that they would be, you know, like her little puppet. I mean, he's done all the things that he has previously criticized other politicians for potentially doing. And now he's gotten, you know, us into this Iran war, and we got dog walked into this war by Israel, and it was for Israel. They were not a credible threat to the United States. I mean, what was it? 18 different intelligence agencies told us that they did not pose a credible threat. We knew they didn't have nukes. I mean, according to him, he had eliminated their ability to have nukes with his last bombing. And so, yeah, this was just, it's inexcusable. They didn't pose a threat. We gained nothing by this whatsoever. In fact, that's why everybody's paying so much at the gas pump. That's why they're printing your dollars. That's why we're going further into debt. That's why the dollar has, 25% less buying power than it did 4 years ago. It's a complete disaster. He said that he had won the war a week into it, and that was just a total lie. We are losing this war, and we are going to lose this war. And I think it's a big eye opener. It's also hurt our credibility on the international stage, because I think a big part of our power was our ability to threaten things. And he's made many threats, and he hasn't followed through on any of them because they were all empty threats. Iran's laughing at us. They're mocking us. They're making Lego videos, mocking Trump, mocking our country. And this has just been a total disaster. And I don't see a good way out. He wants to preserve his ego. And it's going to be hard to find a credible off ramp for his ego. And now
you go to what I asked you 4 times. You kind of went there. Now you're going there. I think second, third, fourth level, fifth level consequence. Israel has all these nukes and high tech stuff. They're willing to go down. They got one thing. It's chutzpah, bravada, whatever you want to call it. I mean, what happens? I mean, Netanyahu looked, I'll put the moment, looked very defeated. He said, yeah, we've lost the propaganda war. Yeah, because you've lied in your behavior. But then the problem is he's not going to give up. So, and now they have such domestic control, this lobby and others, allied with some other interests, the military industrial complex, that it doesn't look good. I'm saying this is like going to get really bad. I don't, like you said, you don't see an exit ramp for Trump. What about Netanyahu?
Well, I don't think he wants one. I mean, according to, some of their theology, they, basically all nations have to hate and attack Israel for them to usher in their Antichrist. So if they're the sect of the true believers that want to usher in this Armageddon, this Antichrist, all nations have to turn on them. And if you look at what they're doing, I mean, it's almost like they want everybody to hate them. Because, I said, I'm like 2 years ago, I don't know how they haven't stopped bombing Gaza, how they don't stop doing this. And not only
they rape men, women, and children on video, and then it leaks. I'm not dumb. It keeps happening. All of this is done on purpose.
Well, and there was no arrest, right? They had the video of them raping male prisoners, gang raping male prisoners. Nothing happened. I mean, they've apparently trained dogs to rape prisoners. They just passed laws where if you're Muslim, you can get the death penalty, but you can't get, but Jews can't get the death penalty, which is directly from their Talmud, by the way. They have a Talmudic verse. I can find it for you, but basically it says.
No, I know it's all in there. And it's official. They're training the dogs to rape people. Have you seen the deputy ministers on TV saying, yeah, we need to kill all the kids. We're Greater Israel. I mean, the thing is, they go on TV. Just a couple of years ago, the ADL said I should be arrested for talking about replacement migration in Greater Israel. Now they're on TV saying something happened. They're like, yeah, I mean, you saw the U.S. ambassador from Israel, the U.S., Mike Huckabee, not the ambassador from the U.S., but the Israeli ambassador saying Israel can take it all it is. So they suddenly in the last year went from mask off. Why is that?
Well, they want the Greater Israel Project, and the only way they're going to get it is by stealing that land. And it's going to be pretty obvious when they steal land. They're trying to do it in Lebanon. They took land in Syria. I mean, they're openly talking about it. I mean, to your point, Huckabee said basically they have the rights to the biblical Greater Israel. And so it seems like this is a setup for that. And it seems like they want to destroy the GCC, and they want to kind of create a war between us and Iran and the GCC. And, if we all weaken proportionally, they strengthen. So, maybe that's their thing. Maybe they want everybody to turn on them for them to, usher in the Antichrist and have their final prophecy. I don't know. But what they're doing is so inexcusable.
It is suspicious that they the photos of the guy breaking the statue of Jesus. How did that get out? They just keep letting this shit get out. They're too good with espionage to have those kind of slip ups keep happening over and over again. I'm starting to understand a little bit of what Dan's saying here. I'm not sure they're trying to do the Antichrist thing, but man, it's starting to make sense because they are really good at espionage. How are they having these fuck ups all the time if they're the greatest espionage agency in the world?
And it's just war crimes in every category. I mean, they bombed soup kitchen workers, they've bombed embassies, they've assassinated leaders. I mean, we could go on and on and on of all the atrocious things that they're doing and have been caught doing. And there just seems to be no repercussions. For some reason, we're shielding them. Netanyahu isn't going to have to answer, to the International Criminal Court. And it's just hypocrisy on the grandest scale. And I'm just tired of it. Yeah, there you go. There's the patch of the greater Israel.
Now they say it on TV, top ministers. So we've gone from arrest anybody that says this to they're openly bragging about it. And like even Saudi Arabia that was for the, taking out Iran's weapons, they've now basically said you can't use our airspace. And Trump goes, okay, we'll end the war. And Rubio said the major war operations offenses ended. Now he comes out yesterday and says, no, we need to invade to get the uranium. And notice that's all nebulous. Netanyahu can always say you didn't find the uranium. It's like Midnight Hammer. It's just a way to keep us committed to it. Here's Netanyahu at the end of the clip. I already played the full clip 2 times before Bilzerian came on. But here he is at the end saying, yeah, we've really lost the propaganda war. Yeah, why is that? But he looks so defeated here. Here it is.
Is it your belief, Mr. Prime Minister, that nothing that Israel has done, tactically or strategically, has made no mistakes, either in Gaza or the West Bank, that have, in their own way, contributed to this negative impression of Israel, whether it's on social media or someplace else?
No, of course. Look, it's war. In war, armies.
Right. It's all just the propaganda. This is war. This has nothing to do with the world hating us. It's because of the propaganda from guys in their living room.
Sometimes miss, and civilians die. And these are mistakes. These are not deliberate things that happen. Israel is besieged on the media front, on the propaganda front, and we've not done well on the propaganda war.
Okay, someone explain something. I've not been in the military, but since I was a little kid.
Even before they bought CBS and TikTok, they still own most of the media. It's pretty much everything you watch is owned by like 5 or 6 different Zionists. That they've had that for decades.
And I was kind of interesting and studied it a lot. But I can also watch the drones, the Israeli drones they've released, the Christian groups who put up drones over Lebanon. You're talking thousands of square miles leveled, nothing there. Churches with JDAMs all day, and then the Israelis go in and chop off the head of Jesus and desecrate Mary. The point is that they are deliberately leveling everything now into Lebanon. Now they want to hit Turkey while saying it's a mistake. It's just, how dumb do they think we are, Dan?
Well, I don't even think it's dumb. They're just so arrogant. I mean, they've bombed every single working hotel. They've bombed 90% of the schools. I mean, it's just, they bombed every church. I mean, it's so inexcusable. And to say that Hamas was hiding under this stuff and like it's Hamas, when they're the ones funding Hamas, it's just all nonsense. It's utter nonsense. Yeah, there you go. Look at it. I mean, it looks like an absolute parking lot.
They claim they bomb these buildings because there are tunnels underneath. Do you see them getting to the tunnels? No, it's just killing the people above the tunnels. So it was all just bullshit.
And it's just indiscriminate killing. I mean, can you imagine the people that actually have to live in this? I mean, it's so atrocious. It's like nothing we've ever seen.
And then they herd them up for like a mile into a triangular kill grid and open fire on them every time they come to get food.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's just like I said. You can name the war crimes. If you pounded them on fingers, you'd run out of fingers. So,
by the way, I've talked to 2 different former highly decorated people that were there.
They kill people and leave them alive. Like they'll shoot them just enough to where they're going to die out slowly, and then they'll shoot the medics who come to save them. That's also a war crime.
In the last couple of years, for over a year each one, and they said no, it's all premeditated, and they were both pro-Israel.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the doctors too, right? Like how many doctors have come forth and said on camera that they are specifically targeting children? And look, I was in the military. I've been shooting guns since I was 5 years old. And, I went through some sniper training. And one of the things that you learn is, I mean, I learned this long before the military, but you always know what is on the other side of your target. You'd never take a shot until you're absolutely clear of what you're hitting. And when you're a sniper, you have a high powered optic. You can see how many hairs somebody has on their face. So you don't accidentally shoot a child in the head. You don't accidentally shoot a child in the heart. That is a specific, act.
Yeah, but Israel has this thing where they grab even down to age 5-year-old boys and drag them off and torture them, many times kill them.